Hello, welcome. This is Let's Go Abroad, and this is our first video. It's good to have you in the first video that you're doing on YouTube. So Let's Go Abroad is an agency that works with students who are interested in studying in universities in UK, in US, in Canada, in Australia. We also do universities in New Zealand, Luxembourg, Germany, and other Schengen countries. So today's video is going to discuss about mental health for students who have immigrated to the country of their choice. And mental health is something that we cannot ignore because ignore the dogs, just ignore the dogs. So mental health is something that we cannot ignore because it will determine everything else about your stay. Your mental health will determine your experiences that you have as an immigrant. Your mental health will determine your scores in campus. That is, if you don't fail and if you don't keep your commitments, then you're not going to achieve your goals. And your mental health is also going to affect all the relationships around you. So I always say, and I always believe that before our candidates travel, we have to do a sitting, we have to discuss something about their mental health. So today I want to discuss the major triggers that you're likely to experience. What are those stress inducers that if you're aware about even before you leave, you will have an upper hand in protecting yourself? So we shall also go into how to keep yourself sane, how to protect your mental health as soon as you travel, and just how to ensure that your mental health wellness is up to check. And the first one that is likely to be a trigger, that is likely to induce stress, will be the culture shock. And culture shock can come in so many ways. Culture shock can come in the way the other people communicate. You go to some of these countries, the people are straight talkers. They give you feedback there and then they don't beat around the bush. And maybe you come from a country where people tend to be more passive. They don't get to be more straight in their communication, that they go, just about the bush. And then you went for a master's degree and you have your 20 hours of working per week. And you go to an environment where people give you feedback there and then, and it comes in a manner where they don't like to, they don't care how you take it. Feedback is feedback. That's a culture shock that is likely to affect you. Culture shock can also come in the way people socialize, the way people share. There's some cultures where people in our community or where we come from, we can assume that is being mean. But for them, sharing is like abnormal. They don't share things so easily. There are other cultures where you go where they socialize in a different manner than you do. So culture shock is something that can affect you. And culture shock can also come in a manner of language. Let's say you go to a country that speak a language that you don't know. Case in point will be Germany or France. So they're speaking a language that you don't know, and that language barrier tends to put you off from so many engagements, from so many social groups. So that can be a trigger. And if you get to know about it before you go, what you do is that you try to research about the culture of the country that you're going. Nowadays there's a lot of information online. So if you're going to Germany, research to know the culture of the people that you're going, the culture of the community, and then you see how to adapt and to psychologically prepare yourself so that when you face those challenges, they don't affect you so much. That is number one. And then number two, the thing that is likely to stress you so much will be homesickness, what we call ties to your home country. So you will be in a situation where you miss home so much. Like let's say is a master's student who has a family back home. So you had a wife or you have a husband and you have children. That family bond that you've cut is likely to have a very big impact on your mental health. We have others who go outside the country, but they're still the main providers for their country back home. That is homesickness. Those are family bonds, and they can have a toll on your mental health. Another thing that really affects women and mothers is something that you normally discuss when someone is going abroad, and it doesn't matter whether they're going for study or they're going for a work permit, it's called the mom guilt. You know what is mom guilt? This thing that can get a woman, like when she's leaving her baby in the morning to go to work. and asking herself, do I really need to do this job? Do I really need to take up these, responsibilities? What is this that is so important that is taking me away from my child? So here she comes and she travels outside the country, and for sure, looking at it on paper, there's genuine reasons why she should leave that baby behind. And maybe even the child is in very good care. Maybe they don't even have issues with child care. But then that mom guilt can really get into that woman. And if she doesn't know how to deal with it, it can really, really compromise her mental health. So it is very important that she knows about it. She understands the mom guilt. The same way you discuss with your younger ladies when they're giving birth and they're career women, yeah? Every woman should be taken through the process of mom guilt. It gets the best of us. And it is not only something that affects women who have traveled outside the country, yeah? Family or homesickness can also come for the young people who are traveling. Some have even never gone to a boarding school, yeah? Like I remember we had a case of a young man. He excelled in his Form 4, but he was in a day school somewhere along Langata Road. So he's never spent a time away from his mother. And then he traveled and he went to Australia, and that thing hit him. And he was like, I just want to go back. But now because he looks at the investment that has been made, and his body is telling him to go back, but common sense is telling him he has to stay. So being in that situation really affected that man, and he had to deal with it so that he was overcome and, drive in the things that he was doing, yeah? So homesickness, and that is a family bond, and, it's something that can affect your mental health, which you need to know to prepare for later. And then the other one is a winter depression, weather changes, huh? God has blessed us with a lot of very good weather, and you can imagine what happens to us like in July when the weather is gloomy, when the weather is so chilly, it's raining. Now then you move to a country where they have winter, yeah? If you're not lucky, or let me not say if you're not lucky, if you choose to go to some places that can be so cold, like Canada, there are some provinces in Canada that have winter, experience winter about 9 months, yeah? So they only have summer and this nice weather within only for 4 months, yeah? So there's something that is called the winter depression. It is there, it is documented, and it is known that during winter, many people are unable to cope. Many people are unable to thrive, yeah? So immediately when you travel, this is something that can affect you, especially if you didn't know how to deal with this weather. Or let's say you come from some place like Limuru, yeah? Or Kericho, some other places in Kenya that are so cold, yeah? And we know people in Kericho, they like going to Australia. Then you go and you find some very hot summers, yeah? So the temperatures in summer are just extreme for you, and you don't know how to handle that. Or we may have prepared you. We may have had that talk, and psychologically you are prepared, but you really also don't know how to handle that, yeah? So that is something that you need to know about, and you prepare adequately. And then the other thing that is likely to affect you so much is the financial matters, yeah? You know what we mean by financial matters, huh? Your parents are struggling to take you abroad. Maybe they sold their cows, they sold their pieces of land to take you to Australia, to take you to Canada. And then when you're on the other side, you're supposed to work to provide for yourself, yeah? That can really push you. Sometimes you have cases where someone has traveled to the other side, but they still have to provide for their families back home. That is something that can stress you. And then we have other cases, they are few, but they are there, of someone who wants to live beyond their means. Yeah? This is something that we experience mostly with the young people, 21 years, 20 years. So they go to UK, and then, of course, they're having this global experience. So they're meeting with people from all over the world, especially those who are from the same class, and they come from different social class. So there is this group that this young person will join, which are, they're having extravagant parties, maybe spending, more than $150 per week. And this young person wants to fit into that club. So he's putting a lot of pressure on the parents back home to support him so that he can fit into the social club that he's in, yeah? Those are financial constraints. So, the best thing to go about that is just to be, reasonable in your expenses. Know where you've come from, yeah? Just understand where you've come from. And then you don't put also a lot of pressure on yourself. And then, you know, just communicating with your family. Yeah? So if you're the main provider for your mother, for everybody back at home, they sold their piece of land to take you to study in Canada. And so within 2 months, 3 months, they've started giving you pressure. Just communicate and say things as they are. Eh? Just communicate and let them know that maybe you're not in a good place. It's good to say no, and no is a complete answer. Just say, you know, the things as they are. Yeah? But financial challenges can really put a lot of pressure on you, and they can really affect your mental health. Yeah? And then the other thing to look up to and to consider are relationship challenges. Yeah? And by this I mean the romantic relationships. Yeah? You've gone to a new country, you are in a new class, and life is life. Human beings are human beings. You team up with a person of the opposite gender, and you're in a romantic relationship. Things are going on well. 2 months, it's only 3 months since you came to this new country. And then you get a heartbreak. And, when I told my colleague that we need to start these classes of relationship for our young people who are going, she was like, oh, do you think we need to tell them about relationships now? And they have been told these things, you know, when they were high school, they were told don't. And I was telling her, no, we shall not tell them don't, because I don't think there is a need to tell them don't. There's a need to tell them how, okay? So in case you get a breakup when you are in a foreign country, especially the first few years, that breakup can really have a toll on you. And you need to know how to handle a breakup before you get into a relationship, because it is possible a breakup will come on your way. Yeah? It also happens maybe for students who want to go to do masters and they're having relationship problems or challenges with their partners back at home. Yeah? That can really put a stretch on them when they are away. Yeah? So it is good to be aware, and it is good to know that romantic relationships can really have a toll on your mental health, and you don't even have to go abroad for you to experience that. That's something that you're likely to find even when you're in Kenya. So how do we overcome these challenges? Yeah? One thing I always advise people is to have mental health wellness days. Yeah? Like you keep telling yourself that this particular day, when your workload is lighter, like, on a Saturday, it is your day to go for a walk. There is no country that will charge you for walking. Okay, just go for a walk, because your physical activities tend to have a direct impact on your mental health wellness. Yeah, so you will not walk when things are bad. You will not walk when financial constraints have come. You will not walk when relationship challenges come your way. It will be your habit that I always walk. Okay, we call them the mental health wellness day. Hiyo ni siku unajipatia mwenyewe, and this is something that we call self-care. Okay, you can also have a skipping rope, where every day you give yourself some time. You can give yourself like 15 minutes or whatever time that you would like every day, you skip 15 minutes. Yeah, so that one helps you to decongest your mind. It helps to increase blood flow to your body, and it will also help you in making decisions, so that if you're in a, what I would say, you're in shit, or your mental health is going down a hole, you will be able to sustain your own sobriety. Yeah? And then just protect yourself. Take care of yourself. Yeah? With financial constraints, don't do things beyond your budget to please anybody. Yeah? If you lived in a shared dormitory when you joined, and then you went to class and you discovered that your classmates are living in self-owned apartments, don't jump that class just because you have a few bucks in the account. Yeah? Stay within your lane. Yeah. For relationships, just avoid romantic relationships the first 1 year. Yeah. You're not avoiding them because you're not pleasant. You're not avoiding them because you cannot attract people. You're avoiding them because you want to protect your mental health and to be sane. Yeah. And then avoid whatever challenges that can be avoided. Yeah. Some will be by saying it's a simple no, and some will be by accepting status. Yeah. Accepting situations as they are. Like what we said about mom guilt. Yeah. That mom guilt is likely to get you wherever you go, but just accepting that this time now I need to sacrifice, I need to make these sacrifices for the sake of tomorrow. Yeah? It will help you in accepting things as they are, and you move on swiftly. Yeah? Then the other thing is to do self-care. You can have your own self-care program, like you can be journaling, keeping your journal where you are documenting your experiences in a new country. Yeah? So every day when you sit down to document those new challenges or the life you're having, because it's not all about challenges, there are also good things about whatever you're experiencing there. You'll find like 15 years later, when people asked you what was your experience when you went to the US, what was your experience when you went to Australia or to Canada, you'll just be looking back and you're like, you've made big milestones, yeah? So document your life, yeah? And sometimes I find myself telling people to write because they love writing, and they're like, no, I just can't keep writing every day, yeah? You can also document your life using videos. Like you do a video just saying how your day was, just saying with the experiences that you had, and then you upload them and you save them on cloud, yeah? That daily documentation, like looking back, reflecting, and like publishing somewhere, just you can publish in your journal, you can publish online, and then or you can also upload and be your personal diary. It helps when you sit back to document your life, yeah? And there are others then who also document their life using photography. So like like I remember I had a gentleman one time, and I told him about writing journals when he go, and was like, Madam, I'm not a writing person. And by then I asked him, do you do photos? And I was like, yes. He loves photography, and actually he had also studied photography. So I was just telling him, take a photo every day, or take photos every day, and then be sure that you just write 2 lines about that photo, where you are, how you are feeling, what was the mood, what was the vibe. And he tells me that idea, just helped him to document his experiences, yeah? It's now 3 years since he left. And he tells me when he goes back to look at his photos, they remind him the challenges he was having as an immigrant, all the experiences that he was having, the good, the bad, and the not so good, all of them documented in one place, yeah? So if you can't write, do video. If you cannot do video, do photography. But whatever it is, document your new life so that you'll be able to cope with the challenges that come in your life at that time, yeah? Yeah, so those are the ideas. And then remember, you can always talk to someone, yeah? There will be always someone to talk to you. They may seem like they don't care. Maybe your people back at home, they may seem they don't care, but if you just reach out, if you just explore the options, you can even talk to the agency that took you there, yeah? So for us, one thing that we make it a purpose is just to call our former clients and just to know where they are and their experiences. And we don't just ask, how are you? There's always that question of, where are you mentally? Where are you with this academic load? Is it too much for you, or is it something that you are coping with? Where are you with this racism? Because it's likely to affect you. Is it something that you're coping with, or how are you dealing with it? Yeah. So just always talk to somebody. Do not keep it to yourself. Reach out. People are willing to listen to you. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for the audience. If you need assistance in moving abroad, you can always talk to us. Yeah. Let's go abroad. Yeah. Thank you.